And to China, to me, it is an enormous threat under its dictator, its president for life, Xi Jinping. It's incredibly aggressive, picking fights with most of its neighbours. In fact, China's now released an army video showing it attacking areas just like the Himalayas, where its troops have recently clashed with Indian soldiers across the disputed border. And the editor-in-chief of China's official Global Times newspaper tweeted the obvious point, the obvious warning. Its target audience, he says, is Indian troops and politicians. And he says, I want to tell nationalists in India, please calm down. Indian military is truly no match for the PLA, the People's Liberation Army. Don't force your soldiers to be conceited. That's now diplomacy, China style. Videos of explosions and threats. Then again, is this military really as great as China says? I've got to say, it's also put out this video of a supposed imaginary strike on Guam, the island that happens to have a big US base there, military base. But this scene is awfully familiar. In fact, it's video stolen from 3 Hollywood movies. I mean, that said, the threat is very real. But yeah, we've seen all this before. The Hurt Locker, look at that. Golly gosh. And Transformers, well, you've got to go somewhere for your explosions. Now, that said, the threat is very real, and some people know that at great personal cost. One is Jimmy Lai. I've had him on the show before. He owns the second biggest newspaper group in Hong Kong, the former British colony, and is a pro-democracy activist. For that, he was arrested last month and charged with endangering national security. Dozens of police sent out to arrest him. He's now out on bail and joins me. Jimmy Lai, it's great to see you, and I mean that sincerely. How much danger are you in?
Well, I don't know how much danger I am in. I have been arrested a few times. The last time was under arrest under the national security law, which is the most serious allegation that I have been imposed on. Because the law is so vague and general, I just don't know when they're going to put me in prison and what kind of danger I'm facing. I just don't think about this, because if I think about this, I let fear frighten me. I'll never be able to say anything or do anything, or even accepting this interview would be a collusion with foreign power. So, I'll be a yo-yo. I'll be nothing, if I think about, what's going to happen to me.
Jimmy, I mean, it's easy. Well, it's not easy. It's one thing to take the risk for yourself, but you've got children. And, I mean, China could threaten them as well.
Right. Well, I'm worried about my family, which is the only vulnerability I have. I'm not worried about myself. And because I'm 73, this place has been wonderful for me. Maybe it's time of payback. And the paying back is the redemption of my life. I'm not worried about this. I just think whatever happened to me, which can help Hong Kong, would be a blessing.
Now, you said something very interesting this week, Jimmy Lai, that Xi Jinping, China's president, could actually be in danger himself because of through internal opposition. Can you explain what you meant?
Well, I'm sure that China has come to this stage of having the whole free world against it, and is facing the embargo or sanctions or trade war. And obviously the technology sanction from the US has been very constraining for the Chinese economy. And China, after the pandemic, is facing its worst crisis since its 40 years market opening. And all this is done because of Xi Jinping. He is also planning to take Chinese people back to the Mao Zedong time. for doing this alone, he will have a lot of resistance. With everything is falling down, with the economy is not doing well, which is the only thing giving legitimacy for the CCP's rule of its people. I'm sure
where would the opposition be coming from, Jimmy? Where would the main opposition?
Stepping down for him is not something impossible.
Oh, well, I wouldn't have thought so. I thought dictators usually didn't like to give up power very much at all. But this opposition, where's it coming from? Because obviously there'd be a number of very powerful factions at the very top too. He's had so many purges. They're either, feeling resentful about having been purged themselves or scared that they'll be the next.
Right. No, I think from the elites, I have never, talked to an elite who used to support Xi Jinping is now not against him.
That'd be very interesting if that turns out to be true. Watch this space. Just finally, a very prominent Australian judge, Jim Spiegelman, former chairman of the ABC.
Yes.
He's resigned from Hong Kong's Court of Appeal because of the national security law that you've been charged under, the law that China's imposed to crush the democracy movement. How significant is this?
Well, this is wonderful. I hope more judges will listen to the call of their conscience and be as gutsy as this Australian judge to resign as a protest. This CCP needs us to protest it, to stop it from taking away the rule of law and freedom of Hong Kong. And that's why we need the world to voice out their resentments, their feelings when seeing Hong Kong people suffer, because Hong Kong people share the same values with the free world, that we have a greater resonance to their feelings. If they feel at pain of what we suffer, please voice out. Your voice is our support.
Jimmy Lai, I'm in great admiration of your courage. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it, and I can only wish you the very best.
Thank you.